draw spots. In the bottom left, we have a friend of Marine King, named himself Ghost King. He is Bjorn Prime.
Hey, look at that! He switched back. He switched his ID back. Check it out.
God damn it, these players changing their names all the time. Pick an ID and stay with it, man.
Though. I'm so glad he switched it back because I've said so many times I think it's pretty silly to change his name to Ghost King. And recently he hasn't even been making ghosts in any matchup. It's smart for him to change it back. It's a good
His
career
ghost
move.
monarchy is over.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you... I've seen Game of Thrones. I know how this works. In the upper right, we have our Zerg player winning that previous game in Epic CVZ. Does he have it? In a TDZ, he is
Fnatic Lady Call Moon.
Now, last time Moon got a multi-kill, it was in fact on the night of a full moon, but that is not the case today. So he's going to have to...
Do we know that? Is it not a full moon tonight?
I'm absolutely certain.
All right.
It hasn't been enough time since last time he
turns
played.
into a werewolf. He actually just shreds up the rest of the team.
So, you know, we talked about the name change thing, and I think that as far as a career move goes, it's good for Beyond to change his ID back. I mean...
well, you know, here's my take on it, is that they could change their IDs all they want. It kind of sucks to cast, and it makes it hard to follow. But as far as a career move goes, pick an ID and stick with it. Because, you know... It's if somebody, let's say they watched you a while ago and said, oh, Bjorn, he's a great player, I'm a fan of him. Then they want to look him up later on. Well, I don't know, I guess Bjorn quit. No, he changed his name to Ghost King.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, some other kid 3 months from then is like, Ghost King's so good.
Yeah.
I love his play style.
And then he finds out later.
Oh, Ghost King's gone. He's off the scene now because he changed his name back to Bjorn.
Yeah, it's just...
It's like, okay, you got to ban the Beatles. Stick with that name, whether you like it or not. Don't change it to the Cockroaches or something later on, because there's a chance that there's going to be some market confusion. This is my professional business advice to anybody aspiring to be a pro gamer. Pick an ID and stick with it.
And not even a pro gamer only, but if you're going to make a band, if you're going to make anything that you want to market, you got to stick with an ID. Now, I mean, we don't give enough credit. In Korea, the IDs are meaningless. What matters is your name. But for the international marketing, Beyond is so much better to keep.
Right.
Now, we do see Command Center first against Hatch first, which was so lucky for us. We were allowed to talk about whatever we want during that happened because, well, let's be honest, all they're doing right now is scouting at this point in time.
Play-by-play, them making SCVs.
Yeah.
And another SCV.
He's just not stopping.
Watch this. Right when it finishes, there's another SCV. This guy's off the hook, man.
He even continues his marine production, man. He did something crazy, though. He started that gas. The Overlord will see the gas.
I'm actually surprised he took his gas there. I always take the one on the bottom of the command center. It's harder to get the Overlord over there.
Yeah. You know, if you take the bottom one, if a drone comes in, it's easier for the drone to see. So there's a little bit of trade-off. But, you know, in this case, he's not going to let the drone in if he can help it. But the question is now, what is our Fnatic player going to do? Moon, what sort of strategy will we see from him? Is he going to try to play the late game against Bjorn, of all people who has shown amazing TVZ recently? So far, it looks like it has. He's going for 4 queens, hasn't taken any gases.
We do see a lot of Zergs go for a very specific timing on this map.
Because it's a tough map for Zerg, let's be honest. It's a map that Zergs complain about all the time.
Yeah, architecturally, it's just something that Zergs don't want to deal with. Now, we're not saying that, like, oh, Bjorn's got this in the bag, and if Moon wins this, he's a god, but it's just a positional thing.
You know, that's something I want to talk about with maps just for a second.
Sure.
You know, sometimes people talk about maps being better for one race or another. That does not necessarily mean the map is imbalanced or that it's not a map that should be played in the tournament. It just simply means that Zergs feel less comfortable in this map. They have to play a different way than they would on another map, and that's uncomfortable. That's why, for example, you do see Proasses often pick Entombed Valley against Zergs because they feel comfortable. The Zerg does not. Doesn't mean the Zerg can never win. So I want to clarify that because
for everybody on the internet who speaks in hyperbolic language.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like Entombed Valley's win rate, ZVP, it's actually very close to 50%. It's just the Zerg is forced to play at the late game style, which they may not, you know, it limits their options, some people would say.
Right.
But Stim and the Hellions, they're on the way.
Yes, they are going to be setting up right now, macroing. And a lot of that is based off the positions, how easy the third base is to acquire. And with the Hellions coming up here and this many queens, the Hellions are not going to be able to deny the creep. I actually think the queen range change is actually great. Initially, I was freaked out by it.
I still can't give my... I still don't know how I feel about 100%. I'm a little bit iffy about it.
My take on it is that right now, Terrans are still doing Hellion stuff, and I don't think that's what you're supposed to be doing anymore.
Yeah,
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you on that, and I think that like people may start to figure different things out, but I mean we're still seeing the same opening that we saw before the Queens.
yeah.
One Rax Expander, Command Center first into double gas, eventually get the Banshees out while you take a third base. We're seeing it right now. We have Stim this time with this build. He's going into Banshees.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what's funny about this is this build is so popular, despite the fact that the Queens are so prevalent right now, and the two units that you don't want to fight Queens with are Banshees and Hellions in most cases.
Well, I think the combination of the two can make it a little bit more difficult, though. I mean, it forces the Zerg to have a lot of Queens out there in the front.
And they have to be very careful with how they use them.
Yeah.
They cannot lose them.
And then, you know, if they're going to win a fight with the Banshee, they're probably going to have to transfuse, which means that's less energy to lay a creep tumor, for instance. So that's one way that Terran's trying to breach the situation.
Yeah. And right now, what we've seen from Bjorn is he's already produced a few Marauders. He's got Stem. He may hit a timing with his Medivacs and a few Hellions to try to attack the third base location. Because right now there's purely Queens. And as a result, Moon is having to get that Baneling Nest. He knows the potential for an attack is here. And without that Baneling Nest, he will not be able to hold it. And even with the Baneling Nest, with Stim and a few Marauders in the mix with this many Hellions, it's not going to be easy. He's not going to have Baneling speed. And this push is going to be pretty tough to hold. He's moving out right now. Now, the one thing that Moon has going for him, arguably, is that he, you know, of course, he's got that macro hatch going up, so even if he loses this hatchery, he's not going to lose a ton of production, and he's got 1/1 upgrades on the way. That's something Bjorn has not even started.
Okay, here we go. Stimming. These Queens are not safe, and they can't even run away. It looks like all three will be gunned down. Boom. And now he can scan and clean up all the hard work that Moon, had put in there to try to get these creep tumors out.
Yeah, this is, I mean, he's lost so many tumors here, but some of them still remain.
Now the question is, how far is he going to push forward?
Yeah, exactly. Is he going to really commit to this? Will he go for the third? I think the third is a smart choice. Take the better concave at the ramp. But Moon has Banelings ready, and now he's a little bit trapped here.
Nice micro so far. He's going to have to pick up here, and he does.
Oh, nice. Dropping one at a time on the
that was
Banelings.
good. That was really good. I don't know if he should keep attacking here.
Well, as long as he can still get out, that's a decent trade for him, but he did not kill the third base. The worker count now 63-50 in the Zerg's favor. Third base is finishing up for Bjorn, by the way, back at home, but he's very behind in upgrades. Moon, as you guys just saw in the production tab, is making 15 drones because he knows I've held this. I've traded decently for myself because I have the fourth hatchery up. As a macro hatchery, I'm ahead in upgrades, and even though he's done a decent amount of damage to me in some ways, I have the tech advantage with the infestation pit on the way, and now he's going to have to be defensive. I can respread my creep.
Now here's one of the problems right now for Bjorn that I want to highlight. As you can see, he's destroying these creep tumors here. The creep's not gone yet, so if Bjorn doesn't keep this presence like he has now, the Queens just go back out there and plant the creep tumors, and it's like nothing ever happened.
That's absolutely true. And, you know, the other thing to note, though, is all the Queens were killed. So he's got all the Queens making larva injects, but they're not out there spreading the creep.
Why is he not? Well, hold that thought. Picks him up.
That could have been terrible. That was a clutch pickup right there.
Oh, I like this here. Putting those Marines right over there. He should probably even leave 2 Marines right over there. Now, he's going to be a little bit careful. I don't know why he hasn't gotten combat shields yet, by the way. I'm just a little bit confused by that. I don't know if he forgot.
He has an open tech lab, and he's not doing
I don't know what.
That's really strange, actually. He's spending a ton of resources on other things, trying to get his upgrades out. There it goes. I feel it was just a mistake.
Yeah, I think he just got off rhythm or something.
Yeah.
All right, dropping to the main here.
He's got to be so on top of his Marines, and so far he has been. He just cannot mess up, though. Anytime you mess up against those Banelings, you lose all aggressive power. Now, I like this. He's going to continue to pressure at this location on the right side while sending a drop over to the left using great multitasking here. He's going to clean up the watchtower, draw the Zerg's attention away from that drop ship. This counterattack, I feel, could be more.
He's going to go right into the Spore Crawler here. Oh, no. And actually, Queen can probably gun that down from there. Oh, I'm really surprised by this. Okay.
He's so distracted by this attack, which will be deflected. I'm surprised Moon is actually continuing to commit here. It looks like both players are a little bit distracted by their opponent's harass, so they both kind of botched their attacks.
Yeah, those were sort of bungled, sloppy attacks from both sides there.
And this sometimes happens, when both players are being harassed at the same time. You have a situation where you're both kind of messing it up. And now this third base is up, secured. Moon is going to attack with an Infestor timing right now, where he has 9 Infestors. And this could be deadly. He's up 40 supply right now.
Terran's pretty Marine heavy right now. I mean, Fungals just melt the Marines, so
he's only got the 1 tank.
Yeah, actually, Bjorn might die to this.
He absolutely may, because with only 1 tank, the tank is exactly what you need, not only against the Infestor, but also against the Banelings.
Yeah.
And he's only going to have a second one by the time this hits. And the Zerglings alone are just going to tear through, tank the damage. The Fungals will go down. This could be game ending. Here we go.
All right, he is just spilling down here. Can Bjorn hang on? Lings are coming in, stimming, but right now, I don't know if the siege tank's going to be any help whatsoever. Okay, actually, I'm just going to say this. I think this game just ended, actually, with the Lings spilling in here. Notice he hasn't even really had to use the Infestors all that much. A Fungal here, a Fungal there. Fungal everywhere.
This will be the end of the game. So many Infested Terrans go down. There are more Infested Terrans than there are Marines, and that's never a good sign.
Burrowed Roach is coming in here, which is, oh, excuse me, that section's Burrowed Infested.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait a minute, why does he have Burrowed Roaches? Yeah, this game's
he's got
actually
more than
over.
double the supply. Basically, a great timing attack here by Moon, knowing his opponent's tank count was low. He saw it with his Zerglings when he went for that counterattack. GG.
GG. Well done, Moon. Prime starting to heat up.
Oh, definitely so, man. Like we said, Bjorn's a guy you need not only to kill Moon, but to get 2 wins, and for him to come out and no wins.
Yeah, look at Bjorn. In the booth, you could see the concern. He probably was confident he could take out Moon. I'm sure the team deliberated over it. And they said, the Price said, Glenn, can you do it? The Price said, yeah, he's a confident guy.
And he failed. And not only has he failed, but now he is a key player gone. And you know what else is gone? Antigua. They haven't beaten Moon.
Oh, that's a good point.
They spent Antigua to beat this guy.
They squandered Antigua.
They can no longer.
What are they going to do now?
Yeah. This is terrible because you got 2 strong players in Moon and Bjorn, and they said that those 2 players are the ones that they're most worried about. And we may have an upset here if Prime is not getting their heads together here and taking out Moon.
I would say that, Fennac's a great team, but Prime is the favorite here. And we're basing that not off just hunches or favorites for players, but off history.
Absolutely.
Off actual, data that we have.
Yeah, real results. Prime has shown the real results. They were the champion of last season. This is the first season for Fnatic, and he's taken out 2 players already. Moon has taken out 2 players. He's gotten multi-kills multiple times. He's a multi-killer.
He's a multi-killer. Those are the worst kind, man. Watch out. This is so cool to be back here casting GSTL, by the way.
Yeah, GSTL is, I've been so lucky to be able to cast it. Now you got the opportunity to come and do it with me.
I know.
It's a treat for both of us.
I know. This is great. All right, who do they bring out?
Well,
who do you pick?
At this point, there's no easy answer.
No, there's not.
They've already wasted one of their top-notch players. Do you want to pull someone like Creator out right now, even though he's normally known for PvT and PvP, but you might want to use him because you take a small risk. If I can beat Moon, then they're going to be less, they're going to be a little bit more reluctant to put out a Protoss or a Terran against Creator, so it's kind of a risky choice. Moon's a little bit tired out. Maybe bring Creator out, show a unique PvZ build just to try to snipe Moon, and then he's a better all-around player to have out.
Well, I think at this point in time, the way that Prime's probably thinking is, get Moon the hell out of there.
Yeah. We got to kill this guy.
The longer Moon's here, the worse it is for us because they have a whole bunch of other players that we haven't
even gotten the chance to think about.
If Moon wins the next game,
Yeah,
I think that's going to be...
Moon's ruined their plans, Yeah. When you go into a teaming match, you have a plan. If I win this game, then they bring out this player, and they already think of that, and then they think of what happens next. But Moon has ruined all of those plans now, and who is it going to be? Will we see Boom Boom? Will we see Creator?
I'm saying Creator.
Oh, Marine King, it may be him.
Oh, no way.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I actually just assumed he would be last. Actually, you know what? That makes sense. This is like pulling the fire alarm, okay? Yeah. This is an emergency.
2-star players coming out.
Okay?
And yeah, you're right. There's a bit of alarm here. Now, they pull Marine King off the bench. Now, I don't know if you saw his facial expression, but he looked really stressed. He did not have a good look on his face when he came off the bench. I think he knows that if he loses here, his whole team may fall apart.
Marine King, MLG champion here.
Yeah.
He is, one of these guys always getting second place. Now he's actually getting first place all the time.
The GSL finalist, multi-finalist. He's played in the GSTL 14 times, and he all killed once.
Yeah. Now, here's what Fnatic's thinking is, Marine King's out here. This is probably the player they're most concerned about. So whoever Fnatic picks, assuming hypothetically Moon loses, they're going to pick somebody to get rid of Marine King. Probably not somebody who's going to go all kill the team or, they're just going to say, all right, now we got to get rid of Marine King.
But also, as a Fnatic coach like Kwani on the bench and the Fnatic team is probably looking at this with a little bit of a smile on their face saying, well, they're desperate here. And if we can beat this guy, we almost win for sure. If Moon wins now, we've basically got the whole thing in the bag. So there's a little bit of, worrisome feelings going around Fnatic because we have to face the king of Marines, but at the same time, if we beat him now, there's no stopping us. They didn't expect Moon to get this many kills, I don't think, especially not against Beyond.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, Wolf, I guess we're going to take a 5-minute break. But when we get back, we're going to have Moon against Marine King. This is the GSTL with Tastes and Wolves. Stay tuned.
Every night.